Hey guys, it's Shayla again from Freckle Finance, and today I wanted to do a video on what it's like going from having completely separate finances to pretty much being forced into having combined finances and just how we're adjusting with that. If you're new to this channel, make sure you click that subscribe button below. I upload videos on finances, financial independence, and just lifestyle videos in general. I'm not sure if I've mentioned this in any of the previous videos, but because I don't have a social security number, there's a lot of things that I either can't do or is very difficult to do. And one of them is getting a bank account. There was absolutely no issues with getting a joint bank account with my husband, who does have a social security number, but getting on my own, I was told would be very difficult. Most people have told me they weren't able to do it. A few said that they could, but it seemed like there was a lot of hoops to jump through in order to get a bank account without one. With that and the fact that I am not earning income, it made a lot more sense to just combine our finances, which is something that we weren't exactly interested in doing back when we were in Canada. It was not a discussion. We said maybe in the future when we own a home and have children we would do it. So this has kind of sped up the timeline, and it has not always been the easiest adjustment, but because we have a budget, it hasn't always been hard either. I was the one out of me and my husband who is really gung-ho about budgets. I feel much better when I have a budget. I've kind of always sort of had a budget. Now, my husband is a very small spender. He does not spend a lot of money, so he never actually had a budget, and I'm not sure that I ever mentioned that in any video. He just spent so little. He would tell me what he saved, and it was, you know, pretty much on target with what he was supposed to save. And so we just left it and we didn't have a budget. Now, combining our finances, we now have a household budget. For the first time ever, I'm actually really able to detailed track exactly what we're spending, which for the most part has not been that much of a surprise. So I was the one who created the budget for how we're gonna live and what we can afford. I showed it to him, he agreed to it, and pretty much he's had not very much difficulty adjusting to it. Now, it's also a work in progress right now. There are definitely things that we are spending way less money on than I expected, like gas for the car, and there's other areas where we're spending a little more money than expected, like restaurants, because for whatever reason, they're more expensive than the restaurants in Toronto. But really, the money can be moved around within spending categories, so as long as we're not taking away from sinking funds and other savings accounts like our long-term savings, then it's not really an issue. But we are gonna work it out and try to make it more concrete. So on to the more psychological aspect of things and adjusting to me being at the mercy, so to speak, of my husband, who is making all the incomes and can technically have all the say in everything. Just a little side note, that is not the way it's working, and I do not think that that would make for a healthy relationship in the first place. Before we ever moved here, I had made a mock budget on estimates of what I thought things were gonna cost and how much I felt that I should be able to spend a month freely, so to speak. And that has been altered because things have actually cost different, but it hasn't altered that much. I did, however, decide to lower my amount of spending money in order to get some other things that turned out to be more expensive, like groceries. But even so, I have felt a bit guilty about spending money, even though it's allotted for me to spend. Now, one month we did go over our spending, but we didn't do a lot of the other spending categories like restaurants and entertainment, so we took the money out of there. And I was mostly buying things for the home, but I did buy a Coach purse. Now, I went to an outlet mall, and I got like the cheapest purse there was, which I still like. I didn't buy it because it was a Coach purse. And I did need a purse, but I spent $95, and it was an awkward moment because I was with some other women who are in a similar situation to me, where their husbands work and they're not able to, or they just haven't been able to find a job yet. And the stark difference was awkward for me. So they have been doing this for a lot longer. They didn't ask their husbands, they just went and bought it. Now, I knew that I was going to go over my budget on this purse, so I asked my husband, and he's like, you know, take it out of my spending money, because he honestly didn't spend that much money that month. And so I did, but I'm still feeling a bit bad about it, but it is a very cute purse. So here's the purse for anyone who's interested in what the purse looks like. But other than that, I haven't really bought anything that wasn't mostly necessary. We needed a vacuum, we needed a mop. I only spent $100 on the vacuum. I didn't go crazy, but it's still it's still been a little difficult for me to adjust. Now, however, if we didn't have a budget and an agreed upon spending amount, it would be a lot worse. I think I would feel horrible and I wouldn't be spending anything. There's still things that I need that I'm putting off because I don't want to spend all of it in case we need something for the house. Like, I do need running shoes. They are beyond below the trim. Even though I just bought running shoes, I have no idea why, but I guess I'm walking more, but I need running shoes again. And so that's frustrating. If anyone is in a similar situation to me where they are unable to earn income, or they have chosen to stay at home, or for whatever reason they are not earning an income and their partner is earning the income, I think it's perfectly normal to feel some guilt, especially at first. I personally am expecting the guilt level to go down as time goes on. Maybe I'll decide to just spend less overall, but right now we needed things for the house, so I couldn't lower it at this point. As a side note, I do want to add that my spending money category does include the category for things for the house. I don't get too complicated with my category, so it includes clothes, everything. So the feeling guilty about spending was something that I expected, and honestly, it's less bad than I expected it to be. But there is another thing that has cropped up that was not expected, that I did not expect to feel. So if you are in a similar situation to me, or are going to be in a similar situation to me, be prepared. You will be worried about what your partner thinks about the fact that you are not earning income and spending money. So it's like a tertiary effect on the guilt of spending. It's the, how do they feel about the fact that I'm spending on a non-necessity when they're earning all the income? Now, my husband doesn't have an issue with it. I mean, we agreed on what to spend, or what I could spend, as I mentioned earlier. But this part was a shock to me. So I had like second thoughts about spending something that I didn't have before. Previously, it was my own money. If I wanted to spend it, I would spend it. And now it's like, oh, but what if he doesn't agree that I spent it, even though the money is allotted for me? So this is something that has actually been improving. So I have not been dealing with this as much as I previously was. And part of that was just talking to people about it and them saying, you know, you guys are a family. This is your family's money, not just his. And that has been something that's honestly really helped me, even though I'm still like, oh, but it's his money, he's earning it. Because I was so steadfast about it when I was earning my income. This is my money, you know? So you have to give that up and realize that yes, it is your family's income. It is both your income, and to just try to relax and stick to the budget. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and I really hope that you did like it. I wanted to do this video because I think it's important to talk about some of the psychological things that happen when you make big changes in your life, especially financially, and so other people can be prepared for it, or other people just have more knowledge about what may be going through someone else's mind when they are not working, or they can't work and they say, I can't afford this, even though they might be able to afford it or whatnot. And remember, no matter what your financial situation is, make sure to have a great day. Bye.